Sorry everyone to take you away from the phone. And let's start my presentation. And good morning everyone. As you know, my name is Jagoda, and I work for the Oki Islands UNESCO Global Geopark Promotion Committee. And today I will talk about Oki Islands Geopark and how we hope that the geopark concept and activities can bring regional development in the islands. So let's start. First, I know that you all went around the geopark, but just to sum up the most basic information. There's 4 islands in Oki Islands UNESCO Global Geopark that are inhabited, and there are 180 that are uninhabited, small islands with no people living there. And the total population is around 20,000 people. The smallest island, as you can see, is Chibu, and it only has 627 people. The island that we are now on is the one that has Okinoshima Town, the round big island, and it has around 14,000 people. And because, if you look at the map in the right upper corner, this is the geopark area, and as you can see, the boundary also includes some sea area. The reason for that is because the fisheries industry is very important to the local people. And there are 3 main themes in the geopark concept of Oki Islands. The first theme is geological heritage and geohistory, by which we mean the geological processes that created the Oki Islands and the Oki archipelago. And here you can see some examples of the coastal sceneries and some of the more important geological features of the islands. And Oki Islands is a very small archipelago, but as I mentioned in the Nature Museum, by knowing the geohistory of those islands, you can also find out how the Sea of Japan was formed, and also how the whole Japanese archipelago formed. And the second theme is the unique ecosystem that is strongly connected to the geology of the islands. There are various endemic species and subspecies of plants and animals which have developed isolations since the islands are isolated, and therefore are different from those in other parts in Japan. And in Oki Islands you can also discover the mysterious plant distribution, because we have an interesting plant mix-up of plants that normally you can find them in different parts of Japan, like southern and northern Japan, but here in Oki Islands you can see them in coastal areas right next to the sea. And the third theme of the geopark are the lifestyle and traditions of the people, which have continued from prehistory to present. And for example, there is evidence that Oki obsidian, volcanic glass rock, was transported and traded in different parts of Japan from around 30,000 years ago. And people in ancient times used to make stone tools out of obsidian. And thanks to obsidian, there has been cultural and economic exchange on the islands from ancient times. So to sum up, the key theme of the geopark emphasizes the connections between ecology, history, and culture, and links this to the geological heritage of the islands. And we hope this will encourage visitors to understand the value of the geological heritage and connect this with natural and cultural heritage. And as you saw, the weather was not that great, but Oki are full of amazing landscapes and interesting plant life and rich culture. And it is quite easy to understand, to experience closely the geopark concept here. And that is why some of the local residents started to carry out geopark activities in 2007. They formed a small group and started to carry out activities of the geopark. And, well, the tourism, right now the number of tourists that come to Oki Islands is around 130,000 people every year. And until the 90s, Oki Islands were a popular tourist destination. But in the last 20 years, this situation has started to change because the number of tourists has started to fall. And many organizations, and including local administration, the tourism associations, and some of the local community groups, were implementing various projects to improve the situation. But since it's 4 islands, and before the bigger island was even 4 different towns and cities, now it's 1 town. So all those projects were different projects about different topics, and there was no group that would carry out a project that would include all the islands. So this was what the geopark brought in. So another problem was that even though there are many important places and features in the Oki Islands, the local people did not know much about them. So one important role of our geopark is to help develop knowledge and pride in the region, among the local residents. And recently, in recent years, the population of the islands is also rapidly declining. This is another problem here. One of the reasons is that there's no, since it's small islands, there's no university, there's no higher education facility. So around 90% of high school students, they actually leave the islands after high school to pursue higher education. And most of them do not return until they are retired. So we want the young people of the UK Islands to know how special the geopark is and how special are the islands, the hometown is. So maybe in the future they will want to actually work here and live on the islands. So what's really important in the process is, of course, education that these young people are given. And in the next part of my presentation, I would like to introduce the educational program that is currently implemented by the UK Islands Geopark. We believe that in order for many regional development projects to be success, first the local team must also know about the regional resources that can be found on these islands. And they also need to feel pride in the place and feel pride in the things that they promote. So they need basic knowledge. And our geopark, that's why our geopark has many activities related to school education and social education. So before geopark activities were started in the UK Islands, the local resources were not used that much in local education, and there were not many opportunities for children to actually go in the field and experience the geological features of the islands. And as a result, after finishing high school, most children did not feel proud that they come from these islands, and they also did not have the knowledge. So when basically meeting a new person, you're asked, like, where are you from? And they say, OK Islands. And everyone's like, where is it? What's interesting about that place? And children actually, many children do not know, so they cannot introduce their own hometown to other people. So that's why the geopark wants to improve that situation. And throughout last 3 to 4 years, we have been carrying out continuously education projects in the schools, and we are seeing steady results from our efforts. And the image on the right, it shows the education model for UK Islands Geopark. And for elementary school students, we aim for them to experience the geopark and notice that there's something special and precious about the place that they come from. And for junior high school students, they actually have some more serious studying and also discovering about the geopark in the field. And for senior high school students, we aim for them to learn more and actually share their knowledge about the geopark to people from outside of the islands. So utilizing various elements of the geopark informal school curriculum, in 2014, we began working with the Ministry of Environment, boards of education and teachers to make geopark resources an important part of the school curriculum for elementary and junior high schools in the region. And we, together with the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Environment has a local office on the island. So we made resources for each level and each year level, and guidelines of how to implement those topics in the curriculum. And also, since in Japan it's very common for teachers to be moved around from one school to another every few years. So every year in April there's many teachers that come from outside of the island, and they find it difficult to actually introduce the local resources to children since they're not from. So we also held seminars every year for new teachers. And this program has now been running for more than 2 years, so at this stage now, we are reviewing the topics and are in contact with schools to ask them what problems do they have with implementing and how we can improve the program for them, for it to be easier for them to actually use it. We also plan to create a similar plan for the high schools, but right now what we have for high schools is there's 2 high schools in Oki, one on one of the smaller islands and one on this island. And in the high school on this island, Oki High School, we have a project to help high school students develop skills to promote the Oki Islands Geopark. And in this high school on this island, we have a mandatory course for 1st and 2nd grade, so all students in that high school, which are 1st and 2nd graders, they have to take this subject. And through this program, students do research, talk with local people, and then think about how to use local resources for development and tourism. And they work in groups. Each group has a different topic, and then at the end of the 2 years program, they announce the results at a local school culture festival. And we also have begun the UGG Islands Geopark English Camp, where students have the chance to talk with native speakers and some English teachers about and develop their communication skills to be able to share the information about UGG outside Japan as well. And also in the UGG High School, a new class started called UGG Geopark Studies was created. This is an optional class for 3rd grade students. So during the 3rd grade, they can choose an optional topic. And one of those options is Geopark Studies. So the purpose of this class is to encourage students to discover the appeal of the UGG region before leaving the islands. Because as I said, like 90% of high school students, they leave the islands to pursue higher education. And so main purpose of this class is to take them outside and show them the UGG Islands, and so that they are able to actually share the knowledge about the islands after they leave, and also see the differences between UGG and the new places that they will live in from now on. And other than school teachers, the lectures and outdoor experiences are also carried out by people who are active in the region and those involved in the geopark activities. We also sent our certified geopark guides. Some of you were guided on the first day we did that in the picture upper right. And we also have been carrying out exchange activities with Hong Kong UNESCO Global Geopark for the last few years. And in the last 2 years, we also received 2 groups of secondary school students. And during that activities, we were able to have some exchange activities with the local high school, where children were introducing their own geoparks to each other in English. And in the future, we hope to continue developing and improving the geopark education in the UGG Islands, and of course with cooperation with the Ministry of Environment and local schools, because as I said, we keep reviewing the program in order for it to be easy to use by the teachers, because if it's not easy to use, they will not use it. So yes, it's still an ongoing process. So now for the second part of my presentation, I will talk briefly about the promotion of geotourism in the UGG Islands, because this is also one important point that is connected to the development of the islands right now. So the role of the geopark, one of the roles is to provide quality information and guides, which are both in Japanese and English. So right now we have pamphlets that introduce the main topics about the geopark and the geopark concept, and then the guide map that you have probably seen. And we also have the one on the right is actually, I think you will see it as well. This is a manga, a comic book for children that introduces the geopark topics in an easy to understand and hopefully fun way. And the one in the middle, the orange one, is the new pamphlet we have created about the map, the shrines, because as I have mentioned before, the shrines, there's so many shrines and there's very important local culture. So recently we also published a new map about the shrines only. And we also cooperate with local businesses. There's a geopark bus that operates during weekends, because recently in Japan before, in the past, let's say, 30, 40 years, most of the tourists, they move in groups on buses. And recently, there's a trend that goes toward individual tourism. So there's like 1 or 2 people, like small groups of people. And it's very difficult to move them around the islands because the public transport is not yet developed enough for tourism, to support tourism. So we have tourism buses. And on this island, we have a geopark bus. And it is run by a local tourism agency and led by guides that have geopark training. And the pamphlet that introduces the bus is on the left, but it's only in Japanese right now. And geokayaking recently is becoming very popular in the geopark. This is a leaflet from the geopark tour desk. We have Y group on the first day on the pre-tour, we were guided by the guide from the Geopark tour desk. And also one member of the Geopark tour desk is also a guide from the Nature Museum we all visited. And we also have a Geopark supporter and Geopark partner system where local businesses can participate in lectures about the Geopark and later become a certified Geopark partner. And this is the second year we have the supporter and partner system. And up until now we have certified 45 people as supporters and 12 businesses as Geopark partners. And the promotion committee also creates information in English, in foreign languages. And foreign language specialist of the promotion committee, namely me and Kate. We both are a member of local foreign tourism development group. That includes all the tourism associations of the 4 islands. And together we work towards developing an environment which would be easier for tourism, foreign tourists to actually come. Because as you probably experienced yourself, it's quite difficult to get here. And you don't really know what to do once you get here. So yes, we are working on improving that situation. And the last part of my presentation will be talking about supporting the local businesses. This is quite new for our Geopark, this to promote those kind of promotional activities. One of them we have been trying to present to you in a little ninja way, because yeah, we can see that, yes, Hirota-san is showing it right now. We have been trying to feed you some of the sweets that we have created for one of the projects. So, in comparison to our initiatives to promote local tourism and education, the initiatives of Geopark for local business promotion through sales and product development have been less active. And up until now, the activities were mainly allowing the businesses that are interested in it to use the Geopark logo. And however, in order to promote the local economy on top of increasing tourism, we also need to promote the development and sale of local products using local materials. And because of that, starting last year, we have started a new project that utilizes the Geopark brand to promote product development. So I will go back to that soon. So we are utilizing the Oki brand logo in local initiatives such as the certified product system and the product development system. The product certification system targets already existing products that use resources from Oki. And packaging design support program helps to fund the design and packaging to mark certified product, and also to create packages for the products of Oki to be more appealing. Because I'm not sure whether any of you have been to the local souvenir shops, but many local products are just sold in very plain, just foil packages with Japanese title. So basically, they don't catch the eye. Let's say they're not appealing. So through that package and design support program, we hope to help the local people, small businesses or individuals that are selling the local products to have a more appealing design for the packaging. And as a result, this year we have managed to create two packages. One you have seen today, hopefully. On the right we have a local sweets producer that through the packaging design program we have helped them create a design that is, well, personally I think it's cute, and it also has information about Oki Islands on it. And on the left side it's not actually the package, because last week I went to take the photo, but apparently they all sold out, so yes. Yeah, it's good, but I wanted to take the picture anyway. And yes, so for the second product that we created a new package from is actually sadae, which is turban shell fish turban shell, and also a type of other, I think it's a whelk. So basically seafood that is very famous, and many Japanese people buy it as a souvenir when leaving the Oki Islands. So until now, our local development goals mainly included initiatives to promote education and tourism. However, the promotion of local businesses is also a key to achieving our development goals. And this is what led us to carry out activities that include all 4 islands in this new branding, geopark branding project that I have just talked about. And also another thing why we started this branding project is because the branding projects that were carried out by each separate islands, they have become less active recently. So there's actually space for us to fill in that gap. So now we'll go back to the summary. This is actually, yes, this is the nice version of the Candle rock sightseeing boat. Yes, I hope it would be like that. Yes, for the back. Next. We are working hard to develop our geopark activities in the Oki Islands. And we want to make local people feel proud and love their islands and the geopark to promote regional development. And Oki Islands are a group of isolated islands that not that many people live, and they're located in the middle of the Sea of Japan. But many people in the Oki Islands feel that their hometown is not worthy of attention and that there's nothing valuable here. So the promotion committee believes that geopark activities can make the following things possible. As a result of the school education, we hope to cause the local residents to feel pride and affection towards their hometown and maybe help with the declining lack of workforce and also lack of population, the declining population. And by developing and promoting geotourism, the number of visitors, we hope that the number will increase. Recently, we have seen the increase in international tourists. Since we became a geopark, there's much more information in English, and we actually promote overseas, so that's helpful. And lastly, through geopark activities, we hope to create a sustainable local community. So we think that the geopark concept works very well as a method for regional development on isolated islands. And we hope that all participants will be able to successfully implement the geopark ideas in their own areas as well. Yes, that's all from me, and thank you, and I'm waiting for your comments.